Hi, everybody. I'm trying something different because, I film these on my phone and it's not the best quality. And so I actually have a wonderful um, camera, high quality, and I just know myself. And because of the way that I would have to, it's a little more high maintenance. And I know if I just do it on my phone, I'll actually be consistent. And so technically, this is still from my phone, but I'm hoping that the quality is a hair better. And the reality is, my videos aren't like hands on. You don't really need to see anything that good. I would love to switch over to a podcast format because really that's all I'm here to do is just talk. So here I go. I'm going to talk. Um, I don't know if I'll ever go into like my full, I guess, life story. There are so many lifetimes in my life story that I don't even think it would make sense for me to try to talk about it linearly. Um, yeah. My life on paper makes zero sense. I've said this before, I'm a Scorpio. Our whole thing is life, death, rebirth. And I can fully confirm that is the path of a Scorpio. I have lived so many utterly, completely different lives. Um, Wonderful experiences in all of them because I pulled information from every experience. And obviously, I think a big thing with Scorpios, or maybe just my personality, is peeling back layers and understanding. Um, we are associated with the underworld. And I used to, when I was little, I would read about being a Scorpio, and I was enthralled by astrology and learning about the Scorpio associations. It was like black, death, underworld, mystery, murder. I'm just kidding, maybe not murder, but it was like so disheartening because I was like this little girl. I grew up in like the 80s, 90s. It was like pop. Everything was like cutesy, Lisa Frank, Spice Girls, um, butterfly clips, berries, lime green was my like I just was so like this is bullshit. I did not feel connected to any of those descriptives of being a Scorpio. And but I didn't stop my love for astrology and signs and all that. And I just would buy book after book after book after book, and I would just devour these books. And it got to the point where it was so redundant, but I still, to as an adult, if I see an astrology book, I have to buy it. My house is littered with books. There is books shoved in. I have bookshelves. I have books everywhere, and a lot of them are on astrology, um, afterlife, near death experiences, spiritual books. Um, I have the Bible. I have the what is that book? That blue book, A Course in Miracles. If I could get my hands on like a version of like the Dead Sea Scrolls, Nag Hammadi, I might be saying that wrong. I've never seen it really spelt out before. I just heard of it. Any of the books of the Bible that were taken out, the Book of Mary, the Book of Enoch, the accounts of all these books. And if I could read in other languages, I would probably love to study the Quran. Not because I'm like trying to adapt and become those things. It's just the quench and thirst for knowledge. It just never ceases with me. Um, to the point where it has hurt my mental health. That sounds funny. It has. Because not knowing the truth is one thing. Um, well, I should say it this way rather. Having a, a desire to learn the truth is one thing, and then not being able to ever fully know the truth because we're human and we're in this form, it has hurt my mental health. Um, Sad to say. Makes me sad to say that because yeah, it just makes me sad because it was painful. When you grow up in a religious home and that's your baseline, and then you start questioning it, it fucking wrecks you. And I wrestled with that for over 20 years. I just try to do the math in my head. I'm not I'm not a good mathematician. Over 20 years. No, longer. My first time questioning more, like questioning those things, I was 7. So that's 31 years of not knowing my place, where I fit into the world, because your beliefs shape who you are. So, how would I be able to fit in, make choices, make decisions um, if I didn't understand the world around me? And I still don't fully. And um, so, yeah, so it's funny now. I'm like, yeah, like clearly those astrology books were right on the money. I spent my whole life going down to the underworld, understand life after death, feeling the pain of the underworld, and then coming back. How many times I did that, I don't know. I can't, I wouldn't be able to count. And now I feel safe there, which is so funny to say that. The underworld is not a scary place. The afterlife is not a scary place. Heaven and hell are not a scary place. And I always say, I might change my mind, I might change my beliefs, but that's where I'm at right now. I was never afraid of death. I was afraid of making the wrong choice while living that would affect my death or my outcome because of the way religion teaches. It is fear based, unfortunately. And when you're 0 to 7, and I've said this before, your brain is in a hypnotic state. So what you absorb, what you take in is fact, whether it's factual or not. So learning the Christian teachings of heaven and hell and sin and God and Jesus, I think it really fucked me up. I wish I had a better way to say that. I wish I had a better experience. But thinking that God would create me and then create a torture device specifically for me being hell, I was like, you're gross. You're disgusting. You're not a loving God. You're sick. And you get off on this. Now, there might be some power forces in the world that that's true for. They get off on us living in fear and not really coming into our own power and to our full fruition of expansion of humanity, whatever. But believing that that was the God that created me fucked me up. The mental battle of me trying to make sense of this for decades put me in so many deep, dark depressions that, yeah, never mind my multiple different lives. That was like outside factors. Like I was this, and then I was this, and then I was this, and then I was this, and I was this. And that just goes to show you that we do have free will, and our free will creates our circumstances and environments. And I lived many and played out many characters and roles. Um, totally have not processed any of that yet. Because I'm like, when I'm saying it wasn't fake or phony, I truly was like, I was that character. My mindset was that character. And I can look back and I don't associate with that character at all now. I had to grow out of the role. Um, you know, yeah, probably a lot of processing that needs to be done on that, but whatever. I'll get there one day. But the internal process of my life is more what I'm talking about now, and just being in such a deep dark depression about what is the truth of all of this. And just when I think I will get it, I'll grasp it, you know, something else will come and I'll have to reevaluate. And that is my also, the life of maybe a Scorpio, because a lot of death and rebirth of my mental processes in life and beliefs and systems and programs. And I had to yank out the programs and put a new one in, and yank it out and put a new one in. And so, yeah, I understand the death and rebirth process better than I want to. I wish I didn't. I wish I had this wonderful foundation, 0 to 7, instilled those programs that were beneficial to me, and I lived a productive and wonderful life. And I know that there's some people that have that. It must be nice. But I had to earn my knowledge. I had to earn my evolution. I had to earn my beliefs. I had to test my beliefs. I had to search and seek understanding, knowledge, and truth. And I'm stubborn, so so I had to test everything. Everything had to be, nothing was handed on a silver platter. I had to uh, be skeptical of everything that was given to me, good or bad, true or false, lies, truth. I was skeptical of everything, which is another quality of a Scorpio. We don't trust anything. Like, is this my hand in front of me? Who's to say? I'm being ridiculous, but uh, we are paranoid, and that is the flip of the coin, right? That's the dark side of it. And we are stubborn, and we are untrusting, and we are blah, blah, blah. But the flip side is now I'm rooted and grounded in my beliefs because I was cautious to believe. I was slow to believe them. I allowed them to evolve, and I allowed for new pieces of information to come in, and I did not um, solidify anything. I didn't let the cement dry. I stayed fluid, and I still do. And that does not mean that that's what you have to do at all. How wonderful would it be to just have a belief and let it dry in stone and just live your life on that nice solid footing? Sounds spectacular. Sounds ideal. I guess I'll never know. But I really had to, I had to create my own foundation. And if it would solidify one day, that would be, I would love to feel rooted and grounded into anything. And I just don't know if that's my journey. I don't know if I'll ever feel safe, content, rooted, and grounded. I don't want to speak that over myself. Um, I could find it. I could find that. I could find it now. I could find it in years to come. Nothing is impossible. So I'm totally open to that. So with that, a huge part, ooh, I'm going to get emotional because the depression and the um, call it paranoia and the fear and the whew, I know not everybody's into astrology, but Scorpios are able to go really, 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 really dark, deep, down the underworld. Whereas maybe an earth sign is going to be rooted and grounded in the practicality of earth. Um, Scorpios are water signs. We're fluid. So there's always it's always ever changing, you know. It's not always it's not solid like earth, like clay is solid. And went to so many dark, disturbing places. And I can handle a lot. I can go really dark. I can discuss really dark. I'm fine. I understand. That's the world we live in. Um, and it got so it scared me, which takes a lot to do that. And it made me become hopeless, and it made me become, it wasn't even fear. It was like, I don't even have a word to describe yeah, I understand people with whatever mental ailments, uh, bipolar, schizophrenia, or whatever, because I always was lucid, or excuse me, I was never gone mentally in another place, but um, I don't know how to even word this, but I just can understand. I felt like I was getting pulled in another direction that was not here. Maybe the fear or I don't even know. But the ideas that were in my head, the fear that was in my head, the not knowing, the disbelief, all of it. Um, and sometimes when you're seeking out information, you're going to come across things that are false, that are fucking gnarly. You don't, not just things of this world, but things of the afterworld, or the origin of humanity, or what's going on, or the powers, or whatever. Call it conspiracy theories, whatever. Uh, there's some dark shit out there. And um, it just really made the world on the outside, like like this world, like it seemed so juvenile compared to like what the possibilities of what we don't know could be. I don't even know if that makes sense. I'm obviously trying to say things in a way without like saying them. Because, like honestly, me seeking that stuff out, it it didn't like really, it did do me good because in a sense I overcame that. But I don't want to like send somebody down a path that they're not prepared to go down to understand whatever. It's not for everybody. Um Ignorance is bliss is a true statement. And I would love to live there. I don't. My brain doesn't do unknowing. It has to understand everything. It picks up every rock and turns it, everything is examined. That's just how my brain is. So when you're looking at every single option, whether they're true or false, you're going to come into a lot of rough stuff. Um, and even just holding the idea that some of these things could be possible made me start to not feel rooted and grounded in this reality. That's the best way I can say it. Um, I was having like out of body experiences, but I wasn't actually out of my body. But it felt like I was getting pulled out of my body. If you've ever had a panic attack, it's like that. You're not actually out of your body, but it feels like it. Okay. And that I would have that every few years. Every 7 years. I would go down some deep dark rabbit hole that I would like to say I had no business going down, but I did. I like that's just my journey. I have to know the truth, and I can't just pretend something doesn't exist to give myself a better answer. That would be really nice. So I looked at all the options of what could the truth of the matter be? What is life? What is death? What is God? What is evil? What is good? What is bad? What's in control? What's not? And what is religion? All those things. And the one thing that saved me, I wish I could say it was religion. I wish I could say it was Jesus. I wish I could say it was the Bible. I wish I could say it was some euphoric experience where God came down to earth and showed me everything. No. Oh, the Bible kind of fucked me up more. The Bible, not Jesus's teachings. Jesus's teachings, I do think are legit. Uh, well, frick, maybe that's not even true. The majority of Jesus's teachings, I think, are great. The origin of Jesus and God and a lot of what the Bible offers us, I don't necessarily believe. And I always felt that in myself. And it was so hard because I wanted to grasp onto something. And there was something in me that was like, I don't believe this in its entirety. There's a lot that I do believe. And I wish I found the answers in the Bible itself. I wish I found it in Jesus' teachings or religion or I don't know. Something did not. My saving grace, the thing that like pulled me out of the like despair and the hopelessness and the confusion and the not knowing were people's accounts of dying and coming back. And thank God for them because I can understand the ridicule and I can understand the fear and I can understand why someone would just want to keep that to themselves. Especially like 10, 20, 30, 40 years ago. Um, it's a lot better now, but it's still not 100% accepted, I would say. And I have a bunch of books that I love reading or have loved reading in the past. Um, especially the accounts of children. I get emotional because it restored my joy, my faith, my hope, my understanding. It just restored me. It pulled me out of the deep, dark, whatever you want to call it, depression. And listen, this is uh not a one-time thing. This is I would say this has happened like maybe once every 7 years. I will forget. I will forget what I learned or heard, or something will override it, or something a new fear will be, I don't know, whatever. Something will happen. And then I will always make my way back to these near death experiences. And I will find so much peace and comfort and love in them. And it literally brings me back and it grounds me and it roots me. And I swear to God, it saved my sanity. did. Because I was starting to believe that maybe the thing that created us did not have good intent. Because how could the world end up like this? And how could there be so much pain and suffering? And that makes you go to a dark place. It just does. And so, sorry. I probably won't end up ever posting this. Yeah. So with these near-death experiences, they gave so much explanation and they gave so much reassurance and they gave so much information. And it's funny, like I would forget. Like I've heard a lot of this before 10 years ago, 7 years ago, whatever, 15 years ago. This is not the first time that I've delved into these things. So, um, it's kind of to the point where I feel so drawn to them and I feel so comforted and I feel so grateful for them because, a lot of these people have the choice to not come back. They could have stayed in this like eternal bliss. And they literally came back to help people like me that needed to hear the truth, that struggled with what I was being told about whatever life. And the people that can like just get by on the Bible and prayer, like, God bless you. I wish I was like that. But I just had so much. There was so much in the Bible that I couldn't get on board with. So, anyways, I would encourage everybody to go and listen to near death experiences. And I would like to go in that direction more. I love like learning about, I love talking about spiritual stuff, manifesting God, this, that, whatever. But I think that I would love to go more into this, get the information out there more, whether that's reading, um, people's experiences or interviewing people who feel comfortable being interviewed. Um, that would be a dream of mine because it's brought so much relief to me, so much things that I was like, God, I know this is true. And the church is like, nope, nope, demonic, demonic, nope, nope. And I'm like, then why would it show up in our lives? Like mediumship or intuition or, gosh, manifesting or whatever. And like, talking to dead people or whatever, like, and like there's parts of the Bible that literally talk about these things, but they call it like the church like makes it something different. And oh, only if you're a follower of this religion that is okay. But oh, but no, like that was the Old Testament, and now and then this and that. But like it literally says like we have the Holy Spirit now. He comes down to like talk and be an interpreter for us. um I've seen weird things. Sorry, I've seen dead people. I've channeled people before, people I never knew, people that were never not even alive when I was alive. I know things about people that I shouldn't, and you're just going to take that from me and say that's not a gift, that's demonic. You're talking to demons. And I'm sorry, but when those things were happening, I felt so much love and connection to God. I literally felt like my whole soul just turned on. Like, and I shut that part down, that part of me down for so long because out of fear that it was demonic. And listen, I've had like demonic experiences too. I know what good energy feels like and what bad energy feels like because I have the gift of discernment, which talks about in the Bible. Um, so, I do think there's a big agenda to make people like me sound crazy or shut us down or whatever. And for a long time, I did believe, like, oh, yeah, it's probably demonic. Um, but I don't believe that anymore. Uh, I just don't. Based on the Bible and based on near death experiences, that is a gift from God to us to be able to interact with non physical because energy cannot be created, it cannot be destroyed. It just is. Our bodies are not us, it's just the suit we came to incarnate in. You know, you know. And I know there's a place for ridicule. I never outwardly ridiculed people, but I sure did think it, and it was fear based. So if you're like on the cusp of not really knowing like where you stand with God, where you stand with the non physical, where you stand with whatever, go listen to 5 NDEs. And if it's not for you, it's not for you. That, it literally saved me. Um, from a very nasty, dark place, and it happened very fast. It pulled me out very fast. It wasn't like a long drawn out thing. It was like instant. Like, oh, 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 this is the truth. Okay. I don't know if I'm going to post this. If I do, just know this is raw. This is very vulnerable. This is never the content that I thought that I would be putting out. But good God, if anybody else out there felt like I felt and didn't understand and didn't know the truth and fucking just struggled, let alone struggled with life. Yeah, like God, it's already hard enough, but struggled with the internal and the non-physical aspects of what are we doing here? What is going on? Like I said, what is God? What is life? What is love? What is religion? What is la, 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 la. Oh my God, if I could be a source of comfort for anybody, then me sounding like a fucking weirdo is worth it. Me rambling on is worth it. I don't even know what the frick I would title this, but without sounding like morbid. But, um, anyways, it's it literally changed my perception of everything, pulled me out of a very deep dark depression, and genuinely rooted me and grounded me more in the physical, not less. And made me feel loved by God, made me feel hopeful for being here. Took away any fear, if there was any, about death and the afterlife, for sure. There's fear there for sure. Yeah. Okay. I think I'm getting repetitive at this point, but you know, yeah, I'm not what they call media trained. Okay, so I hope this helps somebody if I choose to post this. Uh, thanks for watching. If I did, happy manifesting, happy remembering who you are, happy discovering what this is like. Be blessed. Be blessed. Sounds so dramatic. I'm not trying to be dramatic. But yeah, thanks for watching. Goodbye.